Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be starting with the session 6, electric vehicles, a $200 billion opportunity in India and DISCOM's role in making this a reality, which is powered by Power Foundation of India. And I'd also like to bring to your attention, ladies and gentlemen, that Power Foundation of India is our knowledge partner as well. So we express our gratitude to them. I request you to please be seated. May I invite you, and can we please ring the bell outside so that people can come in the hotel? Please send people in. And then we will get started in just a minute. So ladies and gentlemen, electric vehicles, a $200 billion opportunity in India and DISCOM's role in making this a reality. The session is powered by Power Foundation of India, who's also the knowledge partner of Distribution Utility Meet 2025. And now, to guide us through this electrifying conversation, we're going to invite distinguished leaders and experts shaping India's EV and power ecosystem visionaries who are turning policy into progress and innovation into impact. And at this juncture, let me invite onto the stage our chair first, Shri Rajendra Ji Ambekar, Secretary MERC. Let's welcome him with a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. He's the Secretary of the Maharashtra Electricity Regulatory Commission. Warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you so much for agreeing to chair this session. And with that, it is now my privilege to invite to the stage our moderator, Shri Himanshu Chawla, Head Regulatory, Power Foundation of India, and former Joint Director, Tariff, DERC. Let's welcome him. Welcome, sir. And with that, let me now invite our very eminent presenters we have. Shri Anshuman Srivastav, Executive Director, Power Foundation of India, who's going to be making a presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him with a round of applause. Welcome, sir. Shri Anand Kumar Singh, General Manager, India Smart Grid Forum. Let's welcome him. He's also going to be making a presentation on V2G demo and charging of EVs with green electricity. Welcome. And may I invite our eminent panelists now, Shri Ramakrishna Singh, Head of E-Mobility Business, Tata Power. Let's welcome him, ladies and gentlemen. Shri A. Srinivas Rao, General Manager, Transportation Engineering, Best Undertaking. Let's welcome him. Shri Omkar Shaligram, GM, Tata Motors Limited. There he is. Thank you for the applause, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, sir. Shri Omkar Shaligram. May I invite Shri Pradeep Agarwal, GM BRPL. Let's welcome him with a round of applause. Thank you very much, sir. Warm welcome. Shri Pramod Mishra, CTO, Chandigarh Power Distribution Limited. Shri Kartikeya Haryani, Founder and CEO, Charge Zone. A very warm welcome to you as well, sir. Shri Kartikeya Haryani. May I invite Shri Chetan Pathak, Director, IESA. Let's welcome him, ladies and gentlemen. Shri Chetan Pathak, Director, IESA. And Shri Ashok Thanikonda, Senior Program Officer, GGGI. Let's welcome Shri Ashok Thanikonda. So ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is a very compelling session on electric vehicles, a $200 billion opportunity in India and DISCOM's role in making this a reality, powered by Power Foundation of India, our session partner, as well as the knowledge partner for the entire DAM 2025. With that said, I'm now going to request our moderator to please take over the proceedings. Shri Himanshu Chawla, sir, please.
Thank you, Aishwarya. This is, I think, one of the biggest panel of this meet, and but quite competitive and highly intellectual discussions, I think, will flow out from this panel. So, may I now request Chair of the panel, Ambekar Sahab, Secretary MERC, to just have opening remarks for the session, and then we will move ahead. Sir.
Thank you, Himanshu. First of all, I thank you to India Smart Grid Forum, Reji Kumar sir, and our colleague Reena Kuri madam for organizing this function in Mumbai, Maharashtra. Before starting the introduction remark, I want to introduce my panelists who are there, and then we'll give the introduction programs. In this today's session, that is 200 billion opportunity in India Discom, role in marketing and reality, electrical vehicles. We have in a panelist, Mr. Anshuman Srivastav, Executive Director, Power Finance Corporation. We have Anand Kumar Singh, General Manager, ISGF. We have Ramkrishna Singh, Head E-Mobility Business, Tata Power. Then A. Srikumar Rao, GM Transportation Engineering, BST Undertaking. Omkar Shaligram, GM Tata Motors Limited. Pradeep Agrawal, GM BRPL. Then Pramod Mishra, CTO Chandigarh Power Distribution Limited. Then Karthikeyan Haryani, Founder and CEO of Charge Zone. Then Chetan Pathak, Director, IESA. And Ashok Tanikonda, Senior Program Officer of GGGI. These are the today's panelists. Everyone is great. Thank you very much once again for giving me this opportunity and giving me this opportunity to chair this session. As you are, everybody is aware that these electrical vehicles and target for 200 billions opportunity in India. The context of today's discussion particularly relevant to the regulators. The EV transition represents not only the 200 billions 200 billion investment opportunity for India, but also the structural shift, how electricity network are planned, priced, and operate. In Maharashtra, we have already seen this conversation in three major transitions. One is decarbonization to renewables. Second one is the digitization of distribution network, and now electrification of the transport. For DISCOM, EV can be both in challenge as well as opportunity in front of us. On one hand, they create the new peak loads, require investment, green strengthening and reliability, and call for the innovation of mechanism. On the other hand, they offer the new demand stream, potential for improvement of load factor and revenue diversification through managing charging vehicle to grid services. Maharashtra, in MERC, we can say it on Maharashtra, been working on this aligned regulatory framework with the new reliabilities from cost-effective EV tariff and the open access public charging station and promoting time-of-day pricing. MERC may evaluate the consider enabling provisions, that is bi-directional charging, our approach to balance the consumer affordability and DISCOM financial sustainability, and the system reliability while enabling these new innovations. We will start the discussion with our first speakers. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. So, this whole panel is being divided into two sections. First set of panel deal with the transport system. So, and the second set of panel will deal how flocking of EVs is impacting DISCOM's grid, both on the commercial front as well as on the technical or safety front. So, coming directly to the point, I'll first start with Srinivas Raoji, General Manager, BST. BST, as we all know, it is one of the largest urban transport undertaking. So, we would like to know your views, how BST is planning its entire fleet to be electrified over the next few years. Because pan-India, we have a target of EV 30 by 30. So 30% of all the fleet should be electrified. So we would like to know your views on this aspect, sir.
First of all, good afternoon to everyone, distinguished panelists, Honorable Chairperson, and all my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is the right time to speak about acceleration of electric vehicles. This is the right moment for BST because BST started off way back in 1873 with electric trams. I hope everybody remembers. They can just imagine the movies where we have seen this electric trams, electric double-deckers. So it's a complete vicious circle that we have completed. We started off with electric vehicles, then we moved to fossil fuel vehicles, that is diesel, CNG, then again, I think, God forbidden, like, we had to proceed towards the electric vehicle era. The reason, of course, our climate, whatever we say, we have to really respect the COP guidelines which were given at Paris. And to really, expand on that view, I would like to mention everybody should have a, kind heart towards this planet Earth, the environment. I think basically we started off again towards this electric vehicles with the, mindset that we will be, already as on today, we are having about 200 vehicles. That is almost our 46% of the total fleet right now we are having. And our target is by the end of 2026, we are going to do electrification of 100% fleet.
That's really amazing.
Yeah, so that already we have placed orders of about 4,700 vehicles. So by the end of next year, we are pretty confident that we will be having at least 4,500 EV vehicles, so that will contribute towards 100% of the vehicles. But considering the population of the metro city like Mumbai, as per the global norms, like which we have 60 per 1,000 vehicles, the need is for 10,000 vehicles in a city like Mumbai. So we have set our target very clear. The target is by 2030, we should have at least 8,000 plus electric vehicles. And we are already accelerating towards that in a very, very uniform pace. And I think with the present, GCC model, where, every STU is facing financial crunch. So I think GCC model is the best model where the operator index the vehicles, he owns the vehicles, he purchases the vehicles, he really thinks about the infrastructure. BST will only fund the upstream, that is the 11 kV or the 33 kV, along with, contingency with the DISCOMs. And in our city like Mumbai, already we are the DISCOM provider. So many depots, we are already taking care of that. So our vision is very clear. We have to accelerate as per the plan. And I think we are going in the right direction. Thank you.
So from transport undertaking, whose vision is to completely electrify their fleet over the next 1.5 to 2 years, I'll now directly move on to Tata Motors. So we know Tata Motors has been playing a pivotal role in electric vehicle segments. So Mr. Omkar ji, we would like to know your view. What are the biggest drivers and barriers for mass adoption of electric vehicles, especially electric cars, four-wheelers in India? Because we don't see, apart from some government offices where it is deployed through ESL or some convergence and all, we don't see large-scale mass deployment of electric vehicles in India, private electric vehicles in India. So how do you see what are the major barriers and how they can be eradicated out for its mass deployment?
Hello. Yeah, hi. Thank you ISGF for organizing such a nice event and giving us opportunity to.
Mic is not working this.
Yeah. So thank you ISGF for giving us opportunity to speak in such a nice event, very well organized. Coming to the barriers and drivers that you spoke of. See, let me go a few years back. And 2019 when we started, and Tata Power has been partner with us since then, that when we are thinking about how EV adoption will increase in India, everybody was thinking that ESL was the tender that was live then, and fleet or buses are the only electrical EV drivers at that time, and everybody thought that is the market that will pick up first. But we took a bet on a different animal, which is the retail consumer or a normal consumer. And we realized that is the market, if targeted well, that will reap multifold results. And that has been, proven right for last 6 years. And we have seen almost 2x growth every year. Obviously, market was small. But today, as we speak, there are 4 lakh passenger car EVs on the road in India. While you don't see them much because of the large volume that we have. but 4 lakh passenger car EVs are running on in India today. And almost, 70-80% of them is personal passenger cars. And thanks to government of Maharashtra, and there, we have seen subsidy 2 times. In a couple of years back, there was a subsidy. Again, this year there was subsidy. So in Maharashtra alone, there are some 25-30,000 vehicles which are running. So all of this will, what it has done is it has seeded the market. And this market, you should see that we are very, very early stage. Even if we see percentage penetration, we are less than 5% penetration today. But as we saw globally, that 5 to 7% is the inflection point. Upon this, there will be exponential curve of adoption in India, because India mein jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. As people will see more cars on the road, they will see their neighbors buying electric cars, they will get confidence to consider EVs in the first place. So government obviously has played the most crucial part with FAME incentives, with lot of regulations that have helped us. So in charging infra, lot of deregularization of electricity, selling of electricity was allowed to anybody who wants to set up chargers. Then there were a lot of guidelines that were released by MOP time to time. MOA has been releasing guidelines. So all the ministries together have supported the mission of e-mobility of PM. And PM E-Drive is the latest scheme where they are giving almost 10,900 crores for boosting e-mobility in India. So government has been extremely supportive. And the most support has been coming from our consumers. So consumers have been adopting us well. And we recently have released a report where we have said that there are now 25,000 plus public chargers in India. 91% of national highways of India have a public charger. And I'm not talking about a slow charger. 91% of national highways of India have a DC fast charger. Most of our customers, we have seen 84% of our customers, after buying the EV, use this as their primary car. So people think that EVs are always second car. But it's not so. 84%, this is our data which we have recently published, 84% people are driving this as their primary car, because, and there are so many people who have, luxury cars, and they purchased EVs. And they have realized that this is almost equivalent to a luxury car, because it is silent, it is easy to drive, it is automatic, and the comfort that you get in an electric car is unparalleled. And all the customers that have used electric cars have said that they don't want to go back to ICE. They don't want to drive diesel or petrol now, because it is so comfortable to drive an EV. So these are changes which have started, this revolution. On the other side, when we speak about barriers, in the early years, it was obviously that there are not enough chargers, the public chargers have to increase. But now if there is so much of coverage, the public charging is not a big problem right now, and it is increasing. Everybody is focusing there. Discoms are supporting, giving connections. The processes are streamlining. The energization of chargers still remains a problem, but I think that will get solved over time. The bigger challenge which is coming up, and since all the Discoms are here, I would like to highlight this, that Discoms are helping by giving connections at home. And our stats say, when we started, the stats were like 80% of charging will happen at home. But when we are seeing the data now, 93% of charging of all the consumers happens at home or office. Okay, and this is the biggest enabler or barrier, I would say. If we are able to give access to consumers to charge at their home, we will make everybody's life easy. And Discoms are supportive, obviously. Discoms have given EV meters, they have made home meter, second meter process very easy. The challenges are coming from societies or RWAs, where if as a consumer, if I am buying car, Discom will give me a connection, but my RWA will not allow me to install a charger. And that is where the biggest concerns are coming. This percentage was very low earlier, but now we are seeing increasing number of people who are facing problems, especially renters, who do not have their dedicated parking. They have to go back to their owners to get permissions. Then owners talk to the society. Society gives permission. This is a big vicious circle that has been running up. So we have to figure out a way to make it easier for the consumers. So what we have been advocating with government, that like in electricity there is right of electricity, there has to be a right of charge to customers. So right to charge, as we are calling this, that if as a consumer, if I am buying a car, the RWA shouldn't be stopping me from installing charger. There has to be a deemed approval. As long as, so we are not talking about bypassing safety. as long as I am following guidelines given by BIS or MOP, as long as I am taking care of the installation cost of the chargers, the society shouldn't be disallowing me to install chargers. So this is a big movement in India that we have to enable, that right to charge, like right to electricity, right to food, right to shelter, there has to be right to charge. Only then the electricity or the EV revolution in India will go where we want it to go. Thank you.
So the buzzwords coming out of this session is 100% electrification, right to charge. The picture looks quite rosy. But at this juncture itself, I would like to pause and just present a report which Power Foundation of India launched yesterday in the inaugural session. The impact of charging on the DISCOM's grid means we have to see the other side of the coin also. So for this, we had MOU with BSES Rajdhani, BSES Yamuna and Tata Power Delhi. And we gathered data of the actual feeder level half-hourly data. Means there are around 100 megawatt of dedicated electric bus substations in Delhi. And some quite new facts or maybe some strange facts, I would like to say, emerged out of that report. So now I would request Nikita to kindly present the report. So we have to see, like yesterday also, it was being deliberated by respected Secretary Pal sir. We have to see the whole picture. So when so much of electric vehicles in the form of high energy guzzlers like electric buses will come into place, so what impact it will have on the DISCOM's commercial aspects as well as on the other technical, including the safety aspects. So Nikita, please, can you start the report?
Good morning, everybody. I hope I'm audible. So I'll begin with the NITI Aayog report, which talks about the 200 billion opportunity that lies in India for electric vehicles.
Can you please
Can we have the presentation,
start the
please?
presentation on the screen?
So why exactly are we looking at EV transition? It is basically because we want to reduce dependence on imported fuel, we want to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve air quality, and increase the share of renewable energy by leveraging storage capacity of EV batteries. So if we look at the statistics so far, globally, the EV sales over the last 9 years have increased from 0.9 million to around 19 million, reaching a global stock of 61 million so far. Whereas if we look at India, the EV sales have increased from 50,000 in 2016 to around 2 million by 2024, reaching a stock of 5 million. So if we see that the trend is increasing towards EV, but it is still not at par with other countries like US, UK, and China. The penetration in India is still at 7.7%, whereas we target to achieve a 30% penetration by 2030. While we have witnessed improvements in adoption of two-wheeler electric vehicles and three-wheeler electric vehicles, the four-wheeler segment and electric buses are still picking up. Whereas if we look at electric trucks, those are virtually not taken off till now. So to come up with the key challenges that the country is facing so far, what NITI Aayog has undertaken is a consultation meeting that they held with various manufacturers of EV charging equipment, battery suppliers, also the operators of electric vehicles, as well as charging point operators, DISCOMs, and financial institutions. So from those consultation meetings, the key challenges that have emerged in electric vehicle segment are these. The first one talks about the financing hurdles. Basically, the cost of electric vehicles is more as compared to the ICE vehicles, which is restricting the uptake of these vehicles. Secondly is the charging infrastructure, which is inadequate. While at the one hand, the existing charging infrastructure is being not optimally utilized, whereas on the other hand, there is inadequacy of the charging infrastructure. The third issue that has so far been existing in the Indian market is with respect to the lack of awareness. And thirdly, we have data gaps which are hindering the uptake of electric vehicles. So the major approaches that NITI Aayog has proposed out of these consultation meetings to accelerate EV adoption in India is a move from incentive to mandates. What they believe is a mandate towards zero-emission vehicles and expanding CAFE norms to cover more vehicles will be important going forward. They also believe that instead of moving to all, covering the entire country in one go, it will be better to have saturation in limited geographies. What we should do is start with 5 cities at a time, then start with 20, and then move to 100 cities. Thirdly, they also believe that it is important to create a pooled fund with contributions from public budget in order to provide loans at low interest rates. Fourthly, they believe that it is important to have research in battery technologies. Further, there is a need to scale up charging infrastructure and have a plan to expand it on various highways. Sixthly, then they believe that it is important to move from capital cost to operating cost because the major hurdle, as we have seen in this slide, is with respect to the financing. So if we move towards a battery leasing model, it will help to reduce the cost of electric vehicles. Then lastly, they believe that it is important to enhance awareness of EV adoption. That is how people will move from their previous movements of ICE towards EV. So going forward, what they propose is India should have a clear policy with clear timelines and targets. They should come up with a program which is designed for 5 cities at a time and move towards more and more cities, say 20, and then move to 100 cities. India also needs to design and operationalize a blended fund to reduce the cost of capital for electric vehicles. While NITI Aayog report talks about the electric vehicle segment, it is also important to look at the impact that more and more EV will have on the power sector. So here if we see, as more and more EVs come up in the Indian economy, it will have an impact on the power sector because we will have more and more demand for charging of these batteries. So if we undertake uncoordinated EV charging, so it is expected that it might coincide with the peak demand. And if that happens, then the DISCOMs will be at a loss because then they will have to procure costly power in the short-term market, which is expected to increase their average power purchase cost and will eventually increase the tariff and lead to socialization of cost and increased tariff for consumers. So what is important is that India achieves its targets while ensuring that the power sector remains cost-effective and resilient. So for this, what PFI has undertaken is a report on study of incidence of electric bus charging on DISCOM's network and scope for optimal power purchase. For presentation on this report, I would like to request the author of the report, Mr. Himanshu Chawla, to kindly take over.
So, based on the actual data, so we all know peak demand occurs only for a very small interval of time. So here we had analyzed the actual peak demand spots which occurred in the Delhi DISCOMs, both BSES and Tata Power. Now, this is the finding which emerged out. The charging used to happen only during when the peak of the DISCOMs occurred. Now this charging load is intermittent in nature. It comes for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and then it goes out. But during that 1 hour to 1.5 hour, that is the peak demand of the discoms as a whole. Now, what commercial implications it is having? Ki for that peak demand, discom is already buying power even at the 10 rupees rate from the exchanges in order to meet that peak demand. Now, this is acting as a catalyst, electric bus charging, and it is increasing the peak demand. Whereas the tariff of this electric bus tariff category is hardly 5 rupees or 4.5 rupees. So in the earlier session, it was talked about the socialization of cost. So that same thing is happening. The tariff is only 50% of the cost of supply, whereas the cost of supply for meeting such demand is 10 rupees. Now this is a very, means discoms, they come up in a very vicious circle as to how to meet this load. So the report analyzed this whole problem statement based on the half-hourly data of charging pattern, and we also analyzed, this is the whole e-bus working model that has been analyzed in the report, comprising of the discoms, aggregators, and the transport department is DTC. And various feasible solutions were provided to the operators also. Now these graphs are very critical. We see when the charging is happening at the time, the same time is the peak of the discom which is coming. Whereas the buses, when they go on the road, that time is the off-peak hours of the discom. Now this is the evidence-based research which was done by Power Foundation. But the same thing is, means summers is there, at least if I talk about 8 to 9 months in a year in Delhi. Whereas the same situation is not there in the winter season. In the winter season, now this is the heat map. You can see the red portion, the leftmost side column. That is the electric bus charging slots. That is coinciding with the peak demand. So here we had proposed in discussions with DTC that how, without installing any additional equipments, how you can optimize the power purchase cost of the discom is by just half an hour. If you adjust your charging schedule, discom will land up in charging, in providing electricity through long-term sources rather than through costly short-term. So this scenario is without any installation of any additional equipment, no capex impact on the discom, and no additional impact on tariff as far as the regulator is concerned. But here the savings, we computed out the savings arrived out to just 20 to 25 crores in a year or so. Now in the winter season, if you see, the scenario is just reversed. When the charging is happening, that period is the off-peak period. But still we have 9 months, very critical period as far as Delhi is concerned, when the charging of electric bus is basically coinciding with the peak demand of the discoms. Thereby discoms are forced to buy 10 rupees power in order to supply to a consumer whose tariff is just 5 rupees per unit. And that delta 5 rupees is being socialized to other consumers at large. So another possible solutions that we gave it to the discoms is basically installation of small batteries in the charging grid itself, their substation level itself, which would result into savings because this is an intermittent load. We cannot have a long-term PPA or medium-term PPA for allocating power to such intermittency in the system. So best solution is to have a battery installed, charge it during the off-peak hours, and get it discharged during the peak hours when buses demand it. So now I think they have also floated few of the tenders in Delhi, and it has resulted, as per our study, it will result into savings of roughly thousands of crores, 1,000 something crores by 2030, cumulative savings. So I think urban cities in Mumbai, especially, sir, if I talk about BST, because you have the transport authority also as well as the discom in that area. So this problem might have been there in your case also. So possible solutions can be taken from this report itself. And this would be like pushing EVs into the system without making any additional cost to the power sector as a whole. That was the intention. So now So now I move on to our other eminent panelist, Mr. Ram Krishna ji. So I think do you have some presentation for the? Yes, you can.
So, very good morning to all of you. Experts on that dais, on the floor. Today we have a very auspicious day, that is Dev Diwali. So I wish to convey all of you a very happy Dev Diwali and happy Guru Parab as well. So, it is okay? Yeah. So $200 billion opportunity is a huge, almost 6 times of the RDSS scheme in the power sector. Okay, 16 lakh crore rupees we are talking about, while RDSS is around 3 lakh crores. So it's a huge opportunity, not only for the DESCOMs, but also for the all EV stakeholders. So we were working with a couple of industry partners, and we identified some of the key challenges and also recommended the solutions for those challenges, that how we can eliminate those challenges. And we suggested way forward to unlock this potential of $200 billion. And that goes to the DISCOM only. So let me tell you, it is the DISCOM who can make this possible. Yesterday we were, hearing various experts, including Secretary Power, that the technology has to play a critical role. While private DISCOMs are at the scale of 10, government DISCOMs are still at a scale of 2. So government DISCOMs need to scale up technology adoption. I think rest of the players of this entire e-mobility ecosystem will definitely take place and take part. So first critical and important constituent of this particular e-mobility ecospace is a location. So location is very critical. You may not find in some of the key cities, major highways. So that is one of the challenge. Another challenge is that location along with the power infra availability. That is another critical road, that while space may be available, but space having the good network connectivity, good power availability is a major challenge for this. And another important factor is that the location partner, they are expecting that if we are putting up the charging stations, we should earn a huge revenue out of this. So that is another, big expectations. Another important constituent is the EVSE itself, that is charger itself. Now, if you see, there are multiple OEMs. Everybody comes up with different, set of parameters, set of displays, set of error codes, set of processes to charge the electric vehicle. So that need to be standardized. Then another important and critical, again with the DISCOM, is a power infrastructure. So power infrastructure, while the government has mandated certain guidelines, but those are yet to take place, yet to come on the ground at respective DISCOMs. They are still not formed part of the regulatory guidelines. So until unless the regulator, makes the mandate, those will not get translated into the real life situation. Then another important is for the power connection or power infrastructure is a ROW, highway crossing. It takes almost 6 months, some cases a year, to get that power connection energized, while the ministry has mandated 7 days, 15 days in urban and semi-urban areas, and 30 days in rural areas, and 90 days in case you need to have the network connection and all. Then the fourth important part is IT digital piece, that the integration of the electric vehicle and the chargers. And another important is a social infrastructure. While the infrastructure is available, but we are not publicizing enough to make everybody aware, every stakeholder aware about what is happening in this EV space. So I will talk about each of these recommendations. So I also, list down the timelines. So first one is like setting up EV charging stations. So that has to be made part of design phase. Okay, as and when we are planning any highway, any state highway, expressways, or any township, I think that time only that all related authorities, whether ULBs or the landowning agencies or the DISCOM, should make a coordination committee and ensure that necessary precautions are taken, necessary design stage, all the constituents are made part of that design. And while implementation, that gets easy to implement. And the concerned agency also I have highlighted. So I think this would be a good forum to take up these recommendations to all the concerned authorities, and that would be helpful for them to have the ready reckoner. Then another one is the charging hubs. Like government can earmark big charging hubs, a space for the charging hubs across the expressways, highways, at the time of taking the land from the while designing the highways. While there has been GST reforms recently, but I think service part has been left out, while most of the benefits have been given to other OEMs and other stakeholders. The charging service is still 18%. We recommend to make it a 5%. And then mandating the parking lot. My friend Onkar was telling that societies are not allowing to install the home charger. And still, while we have installed more than 1,70,000 home chargers, still I think close to 10,000 home chargers are still we are not able to install because of these, society's challenges. People are not able to, get those things. So if we have the mandate, I think that would be very easy to get the home charger installations, and it will fast the adoption. Then EVSEs, we talked about, we need to make sure that minimum wattage has to be 60 kilowatt and higher. So that, because you see that most of the four-wheelers, they are coming up with the higher battery and the faster charging rate. Another important is a modular design. If charger has a modular design, if one module fails, at least remaining modules can still power up the cars. And then this charger or the entire ecosystem must have the multilingual support. So as of today, most of the places we find English or Hindi, but many of the drivers or the other stakeholders find it difficult. So if we can make it a multilingual, and then all the displays, process to charge the electric vehicle, whether two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler bus, has to be simple, smooth, and the same. It should not change for every make and model of charger or the car. And then any charger or car is coming, or any electric vehicle is coming in the market, must be thoroughly tested with all make of chargers and the vehicles. Similarly, I have also suggested fast tracking the bus and e-truck adoption. So for that also, almost similar recommendations. Two-wheeler, again, we need to mandate at least 50% parking space, because two-wheeler is one of the most highly penetrated area, while four-wheeler are still 4-5%, three-wheeler are close to 30-40%, but two-wheeler is taking a very, very good pace. And we should also encourage the integration of battery storage, rooftop solar along with the chargers to promote the green charging, and also localize in case we have a power shortage, we are not having 24/7 power availability. That would really help all the users to charge as and when required. The next is power infra again. So what we are recommending that all the state regulatory commission must ensure that necessary regulations are in place with the timelines for each type of connections. And in case any of the DISCOM is not able to make that happen, they should be penalized. So there should be SLAs, number one. Number two, there should also be the project monitoring units the way there are in the Ministry of Power for implementing various schemes. I think while we are talking about $200 billion, I'm sure that a state and center can afford to have the PMUs who can be the single window monitoring units for ensuring that a smooth and the phased manner implementation is done. Even this upstream infra can be made part of RDSS while DISCOMs are strengthening their network. That can be taken up along with that augmentation itself, so that can be faster while releasing the connection. Uninterrupted power supply 24/7 has to be mandated. And also, like we were talking about, that DISCOM tariff is 5 rupees, 4.5 rupees. But while actual bill is coming, there are multiple other components, fuel surcharge, duties and all, and that comes out to close to 10 to 15, 20 rupees. So while even public gets confused, ki DISCOM is charging 4.5 rupees, while CPO is charging 20 rupees. Okay. So
Even in Delhi, sir, that 5 rupees is on the higher side. The charging stations also get TOD rebate 20%. So that 4.5 rupees again goes down to 3.5 rupees.
Yeah,
Some charges are there over and above, but definitely it is at least 2 to 3 rupees lower than the cost of supply, which is 10 rupees.
no, so cost of supply, that is a pure energy cost. If you see the component of various other charges, those will be even 4.5 or 3 rupees would come to 7, 8 rupees. So that is the actual scenario. So then another important part is like how we integrate the electric vehicle with the charging infrastructure, and if that gets seamlessly integrated, that would greatly facilitate the customer experience and the faster charging. There are a couple of recommendations. Because shortage of time, I would not go through in details. Then social infrastructure is again one of the key requirement. We are not talking about it. Yesterday also, while IDA and all, they were talking about the capacity augmentation of the DISCOMs. I think this is another key area wherein we need to work upon as a industry, as a various e-mobility ecosystem platform. We need to set up a skill training center. We need to publicize the various initiatives taken by the government, CPOs, various electric vehicle operators. And then one of the key areas is R&D funding. So we are nobody is talking about the how we do achieve this kind of, we want to have the, optimize the cost of charging, we want to reduce the cost of travel, then we should invest in the faster charging, lower cost of batteries, and the also V2G. So V2G is one of the most talked about, and I think it's a great potential for the DISCOM and also for the customers who is buying electric vehicle to earn money out of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So timelines, already Ministry of Power, they have specified in the rules for any connection. It is irrespective of domestic, industrial EV. So in urban cities, it has to be given within 3 days. And mostly now, I think all major regulators, they have made regulations which is in sync with the rules notified by MOP. Whereas we have quite useful recommendations for this. So now we have heard the first set of panels, basically the first side of the story, comprising of EVs related to like what transport authorities are taking, what manufacturers view, charging infrastructure. Now coming back to one of the important segment of the power sector, which is basically the DISCOM. So we have two representatives from the DISCOMs, one from Chandigarh Power Distribution, and one is representing Delhi DISCOM, BACS Rajdhani. So how do they see as electric buses impact in the grid, and how better they can adopt green charging solutions without increasing the cost burdens to the consumer. So we would like to have first view of Mr. Pradeep Agrawal on this.
Good afternoon. At present in Delhi, around 3,500 buses are deployed in public transport, and the numbers are increasing rapidly. The charging of electric buses happens during two cycles. One is in afternoon and another is in night time. To promote green charging, of course, the grid is having a maximum percentage of RE during daytime, and that can be taken predominantly by the green power. But to take out the benefit of low-cost RE which is available during during daytime, we need some kind of battery energy storage system support, which enables us to utilize the low-cost RE which is available in the grid to utilize at the peak time. Another option to adopt or to go for green charging is to bundle the RE power through open access, or they can avail a green tariff option from DISCOM as per the approval of the commission. The underlying assumptions of going green charging without any cost impact is the saving due to energy arbitrage cost, and there is no network augmentation required. I'll explain a little more about this network augmentation part. If suppose I am installing battery energy storage system at the e-bus depot itself, the network which is being deployed or created for electric bus charging is utilized maximum of 12 to 14 hours during a day for e-bus charging. The timing of the network availability other than the e-bus charging coincides when low cost RE power is available in the grid. Hence, the battery energy storage system which is installed in the grid can easily utilize that network and store that low cost RE power, which can subsequently reduce our peak load demand, the peak power purchase cost, and promotes green charging. I'll take a pause now.
Thank you. Thank you, Pradeep. We would also like to hear Mr. Pramod Mishra representing Chandigarh Power Discom as to what are your views related to, as a Discom, how do you see the electric vehicles in the system?
Thank you. Thank you, ISGF, for having me here. And being a 9-month-old Discom, Chandigarh Power Distribution Limited, I'd like this opportunity to take 2 minutes to present what Chandigarh Power Distribution has transformed in these 9 months. Kindly, can I have my presentation, please? So just till the presentation is lined up, just to give you a glimpse, we have come into existence on 1st February 2025. And recently we have got a target of AT&C loss reduction from 14.77% to 7.6%. So the first year target is come to the technical loss level in first year itself. So while the challenges are immense, the opportunity is likewise. So opportunity in Chandigarh is like, it is a planned city, we know. It is like a city where you will get parking lot generally free, and these parking lots are also generally free of cost. So there is a big opportunity for electric vehicles, and Chandigarh can become the pioneer or torch bearer in this 200 billion EV transformation journey. Chandigarh is also different from other cities in a way. We have 13 lakhs citizens and 13 lakhs vehicle also. So every citizen have at least one vehicle. Another interesting aspect of Chandigarh is it is generally middle class or upper middle class city. So EV adoption for such kind of the consumer is very early. Can you give me presentation? Otherwise, I'll go on continuing the aspect of Chandigarh. Chandigarh is also different in a way that it is first privatization with 100% selling of stake. So it is 100% owned by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group. And in 9 months, we have seen no outages in sense that our founding employee, what we call inherited legacy employee, we call founding members of our company, they have contributed more than the new ones, and they are taking the legacy forward with the kind of resources they are getting. Earlier, they were constrained with the manpower, the material, and the decision making. Now, all three are there. All the decisions are getting made in less than 3 days. We have a concept like if the file moves in the morning, it will be closed by the evening. So all these things are getting transformed in city like Chandigarh, and because of that, results are coming. Based on the 9 months to 9 months comparison, we have seen 87% reduction in load shedding cases. And for last 3 months, there is no load shedding. Load shedding is history. That was the first thing. We are also targeting like Chandigarh as a inverter and DG-free city in few years to come. Presently, you will have every house with at least inverter or DG sets. These things are changing very rapidly. So we are part of RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, and we came into existence 1st February 2025. Chandigarh is, as you know, 10 by 11 city, so it is almost a square. Next slide, please. Okay, I'll drive this. So this 13 lakh citizens in the city with 2,000 million units of energy. Last year we opened with 14.77% of T&D losses. We have 19 grid. Another thing interesting for Chandigarh, we acquired all grids starting with 220 kV. So 220 kV is also with the DISCOM, then 6633, and obviously 11 and 0.4 kV network. In first month of our operation, we have moved from all the payments, all the billing on our system, and we have like a big legacy of group companies. So most of the experts came from the group company on day one, and they supported the transformation journey. It was a smooth transition, I would say, and there was no kind of any outage during the initial months. And from day one, we have like established delegation power who will do what. Our team have like representation from founding members, new members, outsourced, so that it is cohesive culture. We are trying to build a culture wherein everyone has got participation, everyone feels that it is their company, and we are supporting with the resources from day one. Like 82% of the news coverage says that it is the positive move of the Chandigarh administration and the central government. We have also started building on the automation, SAP, and presently it is like bi-monthly billing. And if you read the consumer today, the bills are generated after 50 days. So 50 days is the waiting time for getting the bill. In the month of November, you might be getting the bill of September consumption. So those are the things we are moving ahead. On the consumer services, you have all the features, whatever the advanced utility would have, all these in 9 months. Our WhatsApp complaints and the services, 32% consumers are using WhatsApp services. So all this has happened in few months. Mobile app, website, call centers, everything is like fast tracking. So the utilities, some of the utilities has done in 5 years, 10 years, we have done in 10 weeks, 12 weeks. Because we know where to start, we know what are the basic faults people generally do in initial months. Last year we met 465 megawatt. This year we have like we will cross 5,000 megawatt, and we have in initial months only we have focused on the infrastructure. Like within 4 months, we have lined up 80 megawatt of power transformers, 70 new distribution transformers, 4,000 RMUs are being lined up, which will start installing. So in Chandigarh, you will have hardly any protection on LT, but those will be like transformed in months to come. JERC has recently approved our submission of about 1,000 crores of capex infusion that we will be infusing in next 5 years with 200 crores per year. We have like vendor base and everything. I mean, on all counts, we are moving very fast. And soon you will see Chandigarh as a model distribution city with 100% privatization. On loss control, you see, we have seen that the meters with the multiplying factor, it was actually 20, and in the system it might have written 1/20. So you can assume that the consumer were getting like 20 units, 30 units. The big hotels were getting bills of 100 units. So those are the initial low-hanging fruits which we have curtailed. About 400 cases of theft also booked. So we are working on all front, and best thing with us is we have founding members who has got experience in Chandigarh. We have support of group companies, employees, and we have also hired the best of best talent from the industry. So those are the best opportunity for us. Like safety, we have make it a point that safety will got no compromise. So with Touchwood, we are not having any incidences in recent past. If you see the strategic things, we are targeting many things together and in simultaneously, either service, infrastructure, everything we are targeting in very fast. And like with the kind of the plan we have, by next year we will have being GIS ready. We will start working on ADMS. Up to LT feeder monitoring, we have already started. We are thinking of simplifying the things, not making it complex, because we have like experience, we know where to simplify the things. And like LT feeder loading, we have a small app of 3 line item, wherein the lineman can voice it like R phase 200 ampere, Y phase 280 amperes, likewise all 3 phase and neutral current, and just save. Within 2 minutes with the clip-on meter, you get the loading of the LT feeder, and that loading periodically when counted, you have with the help of AI ML, you can predict that where to augment the network, which network will go like overloaded in the next summer. So small things are happening, very simplified things are happening on the ground, and that is bringing the result. And that is where we are stuck, and we find the challenge is the growth. So Chandigarh, everything is good, going great, but not the load growth. So load growth is a major challenge for us. Being stagnant city of heritage, you cannot do any changes. You have to go to heritage committee for everything. So the load growth is a major challenge. Current year, we have only minus 7% of load growth as compared to last year. So what to do? EV is the savior for us. So EV adoption is getting pace, and that will bring us some relief or some load growth. And another thing we are thinking, like about 700 million units we have, which we are selling in the night at very low cost. If the EV can take that load, then we will be like, another best thing will happen for Chandigarh. And another thing we are targeting, which is not the topic, but I'll just mention that the induction cooking. Chandigarh has got big potential for induction cooking. And that we are also targeting, so that 700 to 800 million units, we see that as a potential to 2030. And that will change our kitty, and it will shape our load growth journey. So with this, I'll just say that EV adoption is going to happen, and cities like Delhi and Chandigarh will lead this race. Only thing is to see that consumer have power to deliver. And one thing like EV, a vehicle to grid, is one thing which will change the landscape. I think जैसे solar ने sir, it has given you some earning in terms of like offsetting your bill, or you can say a 5 kilowatt of solar will give you 500 unit per month, and that is translating to roughly 3,000 rupees of saving per month. Similarly, if one car can save me 2,000 to 3,000 a month, that will change the whole landscape. Or if I am sleeping at night and if I get a wallet like UPI से मेरे को सुबह में 100 रुपीज़ का पेमेंट मिल जाता है कि आपके कार ने 100 रुपये कमा के दिए रात में. If you can think of that model, like कि आपका कार इज ए बैटरी चार्ज किया डिस्कॉम ने, रात में जब नीड हुई डिस्चार्ज किया और उसकी वजह से आर्बिट्राज आपको 100 रुपीज़ का वापस पेमेंट आपके वॉलेट में दे दिया. इफ दैट काइंड ऑफ मॉडल कैन वर्क, then consumer will come forward for sure. Like solar, it will take a leap stage, and I'm sure the cities will drive this thing. And one another model come to my mind. It is not maturing still, but I think three things if consumer are ensured कि उसका जो battery degradation का एक risk है, if that can be covered through some model, or even for 1 unit of charge or discharge, some paisa is paid towards the battery degradation. And second, like arbitrage, what is consumer feels like कि उसका battery always charge रहेगा, discom will charge that battery. And third thing, because of charge and discharge, if delta is given to the customer, the three factors are taken into consideration apart from the technical thing that the EV is going to go leaps and bounds. This is my personal understanding, and I think this is going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pramod, for such an insightful presentation. So EV is also becoming a business model for Discom. So that is the possibility of a Chandigarh Discom. As far as your V2G goes, we have a presentation from Anand in this session on V2G. So my next question is to Mr. Anshuman ji. So how do you see think tanks, research organizations as providing a tool for solutions to the problems which may emerge out in the future?
धन्यवाद हिमांशु. उपस्थित सभी महानुभावों को मेरा नमस्कार. मैं थोड़ा मोड चेंज करता हूँ इस पैनल की तरफ से, क्योंकि यूनिवोकल हो रहा है. तो मेरा एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन ये है, हम PFI और उसकी बात बाद में करेंगे. अगर आपके पास इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल है और आपको 300 किलोमीटर दूर जाना है, तो क्या आपको ये कॉन्फिडेंस है कि आप चले जाएंगे? प्लीज़ बताइए. आपके कहने से नहीं है, एक्चुअली नहीं है, क्योंकि हमारे देश में चार्जिंग स्टेशंस बहुत ही कम हैं. दिल्ली, बम्बई, कलकत्ता जैसे बड़े मेट्रो सिटीज़ के आसपास, वो भी 200 किलोमीटर से ज़्यादा के बाद आपको बहुत दूर दूर चार्जिंग स्टेशन मिलेंगे. तो जब हमें नीड ऑफ द आवर इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल की है, तो उसकी चार्जिंग की ज़रूरत तो है ही, और ज़्यादा दूर जाना है तो एक कॉन्फिडेंस होना चाहिए कि हाँ मेरी गाड़ी इतना ले जाएगी. उसके लिए चार्जिंग स्टेशन ज़रूरी हैं. तो मेरा मानना ये है कि भारत सरकार को, राज्य सरकार को, और हम जितने भी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी सेक्टर में काम करने वाले हैं, डिस्कॉम और ट्रांसमिशन जनरेशन, सबको मिलके ऐसा करना चाहिए कि कम से कम 50 किलोमीटर की दूरी पे एक चार्जिंग स्टेशन हो, सो दैट कोई भी ईवी व्हीकल लेके कॉन्फिडेंटली जा सके. अदरवाइज क्या होता है कि चले जा रहे हैं, पूरा डर अंदर से बना हुआ है, यार चार्जिंग स्टेशन कहाँ है, चार्जिंग स्टेशन कहाँ है. लाइक ऐसे कि जब पेट्रोल ख़त्म हो जा रहा है, ख़त्म होता जा रहा है और हम पेट्रोल पंप देख रहे हैं. तो जब नीड ऑफ द आवर ईवी है तो चार्जिंग स्टेशन भी है. इसके अलावा बात करते हैं, इससे रिलेटेड अगर हम टेक्नोलॉजी में और रिसर्च करें, बेसिकली एफिशिएंसी को बढ़ाएं, तो उसके ऊपर हम लोग एज ए PFI, नाउ आई विल से फ्रॉम दी PFI, हम लोग उसके ऊपर जितना ज़्यादा रिसर्च और स्टडी कर रहे हैं, और आप लोगों से भी निवेदन है कि हमें उसमें सपोर्ट करिए. जैसे कि आप उसमें हमें डेटा दीजिए और एक्चुअल डेटा दीजिए, सो दैट उसके बेसिस पे हम और रिसर्च उसको कर सकें, नई नई टेक्नोलॉजी को वह कर सकें. और आपके पास अगर किसी के पास डिस्कॉम्स हैं या दूसरे हैं, उनके पास कोई टॉपिक है जो इस नीड ऑफ द आवर को और जो आगे के लिए भी क्योंकि हमें तो 2047 तक विकसित भारत बनाना है, जिसमें एनर्जी इंडिपेंडेंस होना है, तो उससे रिलेटेड टेक्नोलॉजीज़ के लिए और उसके लिए हमें भी सजेस्ट करें, सो दैट हमारा जो बेसिक एम है PFI का एविडेंस बेस्ड रिसर्च कराना, तो एविडेंस के लिए हमें एक्चुअल डेटा चाहिए, उसके बेसिस पे हम रिसर्च करेंगे और जितना ज़्यादा हो सकेगा देश की प्रगति के लिए, हमारी अपनी या उसकी नहीं, और देश मेट्रो सिटी या उसके आसपास का नहीं है, देश तो पूरा बहुत बड़ा है। तो उस हिसाब से देखते हुए मेरा ये आग्रह है कि चार्जिंग स्टेशन को बढ़ावा देने के उस पर काम करें हम लोग, और दूसरा जितना इस समय टेक्नोलॉजी और उसके लिए स्टडी करके रिसर्च करके हम न्यू अपग्रेडेशन करें। बेसिकली अगर एफिशिएंसी इंक्रीज करेंगे, चाहे वो बैटरी की हो, चाहे वो चार्जिंग स्टेशन की हो, जैसे चार्जिंग स्टेशन में टाइम कम करना है, अगर चार्ज करना वो आज आधे घंटे में हो रही तो वो 10 मिनट में हो जाए, इस तरह के इम्प्रूवमेंट लाने के लिए, तो ये सब हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छा रहेगा। यहीं पे मैं विराम देता हूँ। धन्यवाद हिमांशु।
थैंक यू सर।
या सो एक जस्ट 2 मिनट लूँगा। जो सर ने कहा कि चार्जिंग स्टेशन इंडिया में नहीं है,
तो है, मैप इज, हाँ
आयुष्मान जी, आई थिंक आपको थोड़ा सा जस्ट आई वुड लाइक टू अपडेट दैट कि चार्जर को लेकर के, जैसे अभी आपने बोला कि आप अगर 300 किलोमीटर का यात्रा करना चाहेंगे तो कितने लोग हैं जो हाँ करेंगे। तो मेरे ख्याल से यहाँ पर बहुत लोग हैं, और ओंकार भी एग्री करेगा कि इनकी अभी कई गाड़ियाँ जो हैं 300 किलोमीटर तक का तो रेंज है, उससे ज़्यादा रेंज है। अभी आपको ये टाटा पावर का ऐप अगर ये प्रेजेंटर दिखा सकते हैं, उसमें ही आपको दिखाई देगा कि लगभग 5,500 चार्जर अभी आपको अप एंड रनिंग, कवरिंग ऑलमोस्ट 291 हाईवेज एंड ऑल 600 प्लस सिटीज़ एंड टाउन्स। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस, अभी ओंकार ने सजेस्ट किया, बताया अभी कि लगभग 25,000 चार्जर्स जो बाकी CPOs हैं उनके अवेलेबल हैं। तो ये आजकल आई थिंक ये थोड़ा सा कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी स्टेटमेंट था आपका। आई वुड नॉट एग्री टू दैट।
हो सकता है आप सही हों, लेकिन जहाँ तक मेरे पास खुद इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल है, मैं कभी भी उसको लेके जयपुर नहीं जा पाता हूँ। अब आप कितना भी बोलते रहिए कि हमारा डाटा ये कह रहा, भारत के नक्शे में यहाँ 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 25, 30, 50 पॉइंट बने हुए हैं कि ये लोकेशन है, बट मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ कि आप नहीं जा सकते 300 किलोमीटर दूर। और दूसरी चीज़ मैं और बताऊँ, नहीं हो सकता आपके डाटा सही हो, पैनल इसीलिए डिस्कस होना चाहिए, मोनोटोनस नहीं होना चाहिए कि एक हम चले गए वहाँ से अपना एक प्रेजेंटेशन दे दिया। ये अच्छी बात है, आप और हम आर्ग्यूमेंट कर रहे हैं। वो जैसे मैं रिसेंटली बताऊँ आपको, मैं सोलापुर में पोस्टेड था, सोलापुर से ऑल द वे नोएडा आया, इट इज़ 1600 किलोमीटर। और मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ बहुत दूरी पे, एक्सेप्ट रिलायंस के जो पेट्रोल पंप हैं, जहाँ पे मैंने भी रिलायंस BP शायद मिलके बनाए हुए हैं, इफ़ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, उधर पे चार्जिंग स्टेशन मिले। अदरवाइज स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम सोलापुर टू धुले 500 किलोमीटर, 550 किलोमीटर है, देन इंदौर उधर भी, और उसके बाद इंदौर के बाद ये आपका शिवपुरी, गुना, और फाइनली नोएडा। बीच में यमुना एक्सप्रेस वे पे चार्जर दिखे, चार्जिंग स्टेशन बकाया मुझे तो नहीं दिखे। और इतना बड़ा क्या कहते हैं, वेस्टर्न पार्ट से लेके और नॉर्दर्न पार्ट तक हम आ गए। तो आई डोंट थिंक आपके पास डाटा होंगे, आपके पास भारत के नक्शे पे बहुत सारे पॉइंट बनाने के लिए होंगे। और ये जो टाटा पावर या BSES या चंडीगढ़ पावर, ये मेट्रो सिटीज़ के लिए आप कर रहे हैं। आप पूरे देश के लिए करने वाला कुछ कर रहे हो तो मोस्ट वेलकम है उस तरह का, मैं आपको डिस्करेज नहीं करना चाहता हूँ, तभी एक उद्देश्य सफल होगा। थैंक यू।
नहीं अंशुमन जी, एक और ऐड करूंगा।
एक ही मिनट। I would just like to intervene in between as moderator of the session.
ठीक है, चलो offline
both अलग से I think we can continue on
one
this aspect.
one small comment, मैं बीच का रास्ता निकाल देता हूँ। टेक्निकली दिस इज पॉसिबल, हम जा सकते हैं, लेकिन डर बहुत लगता है।
मैं वही बोलने वाला था।
बीच का रास्ता एक ये भी है, both the panelists are correct on their part.
आनंद जी ने समराइज कर दिया।
चार्जर्स हैं, बट इशू एक ये भी है, एक लीडिंग इशू, कि हाउ मच टाइम डू वी स्पेंड एट द चार्जिंग स्टेशन इन चार्जिंग अवर कार। द मोमेंट हम पेट्रोल पंप्स पे जाते हैं तो 5 मिनट मैक्सिमम टैंक फुल हो जाता है। इवन सीएनजी स्टेशंस पे भी उतनी लंबी अब क्यू रहती नहीं है। तो इश्यूज तो हैं, इश्यूज हो सकता है अभी नंबर ऑफ चार्जर्स ना हो, बट सेकंड इशू है द टाइम स्पेंड टू 100% चार्ज इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स। मेरे ख्याल से वो भी फास्ट चार्जिंग में भी आधे घंटा तो लगता है,
आधा घंटा लगता है
तो
अभी।
हाउ मच पेशेंस डू वी हैव टू be at charging station, wait for half an hour, then again charge, then again run for 200 kilometers, then again take a pause of half an hour, 45 minutes. So there are so many issues.
नहीं, so Himanshu, since you have opened this topic, just 2 डेटा पॉइंट बताता हूँ, आप उसके बाद you can take it
थोड़ा
over.
जल्दी करेगा
कि
भी,
जो
और panelists, in
हाईवे
fact,
ट्रैवल है,
फाइनेंस रिलेटेड अशोक जी से काफी क्वेश्चन
जो हाईवे ट्रैवल के हम डेटा देख रहे हैं, एट एन इंस्टेंट आप हम सब लोग हाईवे पे गाड़ी चलाते हैं, एट अ स्ट्रेच कोई भी आदमी 200 से 250 किलोमीटर के ऊपर गाड़ी नहीं चलाता है, और एवरी 200 किलोमीटर्स एवरीबडी टेक्स अ ब्रेक फॉर एटलीस्ट हाफ एन आवर। और हम हमारे जो सारे चार्जर हम देख रहे हैं, जो मैं 91% कवरेज बोल रहा था आपको, शायद चार्जर दिख नहीं रहे होंगे बट सारे लगे हुए हैं, ठीक है। विजिबिलिटी इज अ प्रॉब्लम, दैट आई एग्री, बट ये सारे चार्जर एवरी 50 किलोमीटर्स पे हैं आज। मतलब वी आर नॉट इवन टॉकिंग कि क्या होना चाहिए।
सो दिस इज इन मुंबई और where?
नहीं, पैन इंडिया 91% ऑफ नेशनल
अच्छा,
हाईवेज
highways।
ऑफ इंडिया ओएमसीज ने चार्जर लगाए हैं, टाटा पावर ने चार्जर लगाए हैं, चार्जोन हमारा पार्टनर है, चार्जोन ने चार्जर लगाए हैं। ऑल ऑफ दीज पीपल हैव डन दिस, एंड अभी हम सॉल्व इसीलिए कर रहे हैं कि अभी अवेलेबिलिटी एंग्जाइटी नहीं है। अभी आई एम नॉट सेइंग एवरीथिंग इज सॉर्टेड कि आप चले जाओ आपको चार्जर मिल जाएंगे। अभी प्रॉब्लम है कि वो चलेंगे नहीं चलेंगे, वहाँ पे पावर होगा नहीं होगा, वहाँ पे डिस्कॉम का कट होगा तो मैं चार्जिंग मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा। सो नाउ द प्रॉब्लम दैट वी आर सॉल्विंग इज विजिबिलिटी, रिलायबिलिटी एंड स्पीड। आप हमारे लेटेस्ट चार्जर दिखे, हमने टाटा पावर के साथ यहाँ पे अंधेरी में चार्जर लगाया, 16 बेज है उसमें, 16 गाड़ी साइमल्टेनियसली चार्ज हो रहा है। चार्जोन के साथ हमने किए हैं चार्जर जहाँ पे 6-6, 8-8 गाड़ी साइमल्टेनियसली चार्ज हो सकती है एट 360 किलोवाट, 480 किलोवाट पावर, जो 30 मिनट्स में आपको 300 किलोमीटर रेंज देगा। आज हमारी हैरियर ईवी है, कर्व ईवी है, एट अ स्ट्रेच विदाउट चार्जिंग 500 किलोमीटर चल सकती है।
ठीक है ओमकार जी, आपने 3 प्रॉब्लम्स बताई, लेकिन एक चौथी प्रॉब्लम बहुत पर्टिनेंट प्रॉब्लम है, द प्रीमियम विच पीपल पे इन बाइंग एन ईवी कार एज कंपेयर टू सिमिलर मॉडल सीएनजी और पेट्रोल कार। वो प्रीमियम ही होता है 6 से 7 लाख रुपए। तो मैं भी जब अभी हाल फिलहाल अपनी गाड़ी चेंज कर रहा था लास्ट ईयर, तो मैंने ये रियलाइज़ किया कि 2 लाख किलोमीटर पे भी वो मेरा बेंचमार्क नहीं निकल रहा। तो उतना तो मैं पेट्रोल सेव ही नहीं कर पाऊंगा जितना मैं अपफ्रंट प्रीमियम दूंगा। सो देयर आर सो मेनी इश्यूज विच वी कैन डिस्कस। हाँ, टेक्नोलॉजी, हाँ, सो वी कैन evolve technology. We have to reduce the cost of electric vehicle in order to make public at large to accept it as a common mode of transport like petrol cars or CNG cars. So now everything needs money at the end of the day. So our question is to Mr. Ashok ji. So how can green finance or public-private partnerships can be a better solution for such EV transport sector, including the charging infrastructure? Over to you.
Thank you, Himanshu ji, and thank you also, Mr. Raji, and the entire ISGF team for having us here. And बहुत interesting discussion है, I think काफ़ी charged discussion रहा. But in terms of finance, right? See, green bonds definitely are an instrument. Last year we have facilitated $500 million green bond through REC. Some of the proceeds have gone towards procurement of electric buses, and उसके साथों साथ I mean charging infrastructure के लिए भी जा सकते हैं. It's a sort of fairly well established model. The only thing with green bonds is few years back there was this concept that you're committing that your proceeds will only go to green. There is a detailed reporting process, transparency, etc. So there was at least some greenium, which was supposed to say a fair bit of discount, a few basis points of discount on the interest rates. But and that was the one which was driving, say, the players from the global south to go for green bonds. Current global financial situation means that greenium probably does not exist, right? That's the only reality check we have to take into consideration. However, when we're doing large portfolio projects, and these are all sort of first mover projects where there is a lot of risk, you're doing risk mitigation by demonstration, etc. Bringing in, catalytic capital or patient capital can often sweeten the deal a little bit. In addition to this, particularly about electric vehicle charging infra, when we are looking at public-private partnerships, how is it that the governments are able to reduce the risk? Probably they are able to offer the land at reduced, leasing rates, etc. is something that has been also playing out. But I am a believer, knowing fully well what kind of competitiveness it takes to run a business in this country. I'm fully also cognizant that we cannot have a model where the entire risk is taken care of by government, right? At the end of the day, the private partner also has to take on some amount of risk, and they must be open to that. Now, the third point I just want to say is that this connects to the earlier debate about charging infra. Modeling consumer behavior is extremely important. 4-5 years back, when I was doing this EV load simulation at WRI, we had all these data constraints, etc. But we were very clear that bulk of the consumers are going to charge their vehicles at home. And I think in India, even when you look at right now, most of the passenger vehicles, they are meant for city transport. People are not still buying EVs, कि मुझे weekend trip करना है, 500 kilometers का जो भी करना है, right? And I know, at least from anecdotal evidence, from 2-3 people who own EVs, one in Delhi and one in Hyderabad, they said 2-3 years back when they used to take their car out on the weekends, the charging station was there and there wasn't a lot of waiting time. But there were fewer charging stations. Now the charging stations are slowly increasing, but there is increased waiting time, right? So these kind of things are also existing. But there is also, at least I won't take the name of state because it could be applicable to multiple states. We still have, if I'm looking for EV charging spots, there is a scanned PDF of the locations on the website. And these are not even map links. These are just text addresses of the locations, right? So we have to increase these things. And siting charging infrastructure at these low density areas is part of making it competitive that the private sector has to do.
Thank you, Ashokji. We also have a representative from one of the biggest charging company, Kartike is here. So from you, we just want to understand what are the biggest challenges which is being faced by charging operators in scaling up this PCS, public charging stations.
Thank you so much, and thank you, RK Singh, for the masterclass. Despite being 6 years into charging infra, it's always refreshing to hear some of the stalwarts on this panel. So I'll just come straight to the point. So as ChargeZone, we've been into this market for the last 6 years. We are an Indian company, an Indian startup, and also one of the leading EV charging player in the country. Roughly 250,000 EV customers have visited us at least once over the last 4-5 years, or since the day they have bought their car. Some of the data points do resonate of what we have been building, and since it is a distribution utility summit, to speak in their language, we sell close to 10 million units or 10 gigawatt hour of energy every month. So that's a first milestone I think we have been able to achieve. Now, we are, after all, a soft infrastructure company. We sell electrons and non-molecules. We are building petrol pumps of the future, as the way I would like to describe our company and our team. And having said that, when we set up this charging stations, since we specialize largely on fast DC charging and supercharging, again, in terms of kilowatt classification, it starts somewhere around 60 kilowatt and goes all the way to 1.2, 1.5 megawatt as a cumulative capacity for each location. So with DISCOM, we have all this Dosti Yari and Tom and Jerry show all the time, because our entire journey for setting up a charging station, it starts with an application at or with a DISCOM in that particular territory. Now, I must appreciate one thing, that I had a lot of complaints because of the lead time of getting a connection, and most of us will have. People who are setting up their new factories, data centers, charging stations, and so on. But in order to see a different perspective, please take a road trip in Europe and try to speak to some of the stakeholders over there. To get a new connection in Western Europe, the lead time is anywhere from 10 months to 4 years. And when I took this road trip last year, I felt, well, I'm better off in my own country, on my own home country, where DISCOMs are more proactive than, let's say, they were 10 years ago. So they're fair and square. All due credits to them in terms of faster resolution of or turn. So that's one praiseworthy. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for reminding for EV charging, by the way. Yeah. And so due credits to DISCOM, as I said. But now let's address the elephant in the room. More than the range anxiety, as some of the people mentioned, there is a reliability anxiety, which is a crucial problem. A charger is available or visible on an app or physically is a different story, and it's an emerging story, let's put it in that way. But as we have faced as a service provider to an end customer who is driving a car, even an intercity bus, and by the way, there are also intercity trucks which are plying on the road. And that's a difficult problem to solve as far as the 24/7 reliability from DISCOM is concerned. Now, I'm happy to share one thing, that while the problem did existed and will continue to exist, there are blackouts in New York, Mumbai, Washington, Japan, everywhere. Because after all, it is a very technical subject and infrastructure which is engineering driven. So it's bound to happen that there will be challenges on the field. Fortunately, we have solutions, battery energy storage, and now with the unit economics making a lot of sense, we also started asking, can we become our own DISCOM? In other words, you become your own prosumer to some extent. So you bring in solar microgrids or mini grids, bring BESS, and store the energy available at a peak hour or non-peak hour or the green hours, etc. And try to solve, maybe at not all the places, but at some of the places. But this would be my request on this stage and this panel, and a request to the DISCOMs, who are our partners, by the way, that the reliability part, if EV has to succeed, EV charging infra has to be world-class. And as Mr. R.K. Singh mentioned about, in one of the slides, about locations, he mentioned about the superchargers, he mentioned about battery energy storage, digital infrastructure, and so on. All these things can work beautifully provided you have the input, that's the raw material for us, that's electricity, which need to be available 24/7. I would also like to nudge one point. Very often it is mentioned about the price, the tariffs, and so on. But since I've been driving an EV for the last 7 years now, I do drive a couple of luxury cars as well, and a petrol tank was, say, 3,000 to 4,000 rupees. An Innova, for example, is 4,500 rupees because of a 55-liter tank. A full tank goes above 3,000. A full tank in EV, even at 21 rupees per unit, if some of the CPOs, we sell at 21 or 22. GOBP, Tata Power, and other, they do sell at 21, 22. But honestly, customer is ready to pay. Even it theoretically or even practically looks a little expensive. But it is better to have a 3 rupee per kilometer mileage in an EV than compared to a 10 rupee kilometer in a petrol or diesel. Notwithstanding the unit economics and all, I would like to just add one more point. A lot to be spoken about personal mobility, cars for sure. They have shown the way, and just like mobile phone showed the way for lithium-ion batteries, I'm sure if we go back 20, 25 years, the lithium-ion that you see so popular, it was mobile phone who built that confidence in practical applications. Those were the engineers that we need to give credit to make lithium-ion mainstream. However, when we want to solve e-mobility in the truest sense, the credit need to, or rather, the market need to be built around commercial mobility. And in that case, the role of CPO, DISCOMs, renewable energy becomes even more critical because the ranging from voltage level to kilowatt level, it is no longer 30 kilowatt or 60 kilowatt. It starts with 240 kilowatt. And therefore, the challenges are even bigger. But with challenges comes opportunity. As the gentleman from Chandigarh DISCOM mentioned, that, well, there's hardly much of business, which is true, by the way. And my question to DISCOM is, now there is a new customer called electric vehicle, yeah, who is likely to add 10, 20, 30% to the revenues and a good bottom line as well, provided we all put our act together. So these are my 2 cents on the challenges and the solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Kartikeji. So he has a suggestion, upfront cost versus less recurring cost for adoption of electric vehicles. We also have a representative from Storage Alliance, Chetan Pathak. So one of these suggestions which came out from Kartikeya is the storage aspects. We would like to know your view on this.
Sure. So we had been listening about lots and lots of challenges which we are facing in various different aspects. One of the most critical aspect which we require in India as of now is how do we increase the battery energy storage penetration in our grid system. See, we are very well aware that if you have to take a connection of even 20 kilowatt, you will also get an application or request from the DISCOM, especially government DISCOM, that you will also have to set up a transformer along with it. So when such conditions come into your cost economics, the commercial are really, you fell down like anything. So immediately with the cost of setting up of charging station, there is an extra add-on cost of setting up a transformer. Here, the role of microgrids, and if you are on a highway, promoting solar plus energy storage could be one of the main option to get a reliable power, since battery offer a firm dispatchable power for your charging station. This is an important aspect which you have to consider in mind. In addition to that, apart from the cost economics, there is an important aspect of what does the EV battery can further in their second life do. So your battery, which is right now sitting in your electric vehicles, can transform into a stationary energy storage. Apart from few projects in India, BESCOM have done with one of the leading players for a stationary energy storage along with the EV charging. BSES Rajdhani have done that. But then there are a lot of examples wherein we need to take up a call on 2 very critical aspects. I would like to put in these 2 aspects. We are yet to finalize a battery reuse certification framework. By this I mean, if your end of life of electric vehicles, can we utilize it for a battery energy storage? And our EPR registry do not talk about this. EPR means extended producer responsibility of using that electric vehicle, and after end of life, what do you do with that battery? So we failed to deliver on this. We need to take an action and call on this. Second, vehicle to grid or vehicle to X. Whatever, as Pramod sir was also highlighting, can your battery go an extra mile while you're not utilizing it? This particular aspect, if we talk about, and if we instrumentalize the settlement process in our billing structure, as we do for the net metering, can we have a similar methodology for battery being utilized from the electric vehicles to the grid? This is the second very critical aspect which we should focus on. Also, I would like to highlight on a very important aspect of grid constraint and the transformer constraint which we always face. Now, when we are talking about augmentation of our grid system, when we have an add-on load of electric vehicles, we need to also consider a very important aspect. Can the DISCOM do unlimited augmentation? Because we have limited space in metro cities, we need to have an alternative to these augmentation in the form of battery energy storage. While the space of setting up these battery energy storage is much lesser, it provides an immediate resort and a problem solving to your existing grid woes. So, while it's a request to various grid operators to consider this in a very positive note, as right now lithium and pricings have fallen like anything, and it has been at the lowest point. Very soon, with the rise in the lithium pricing, to some extent, the reverse curve will also start. So it is the most optimal time of adoption of battery energy storage on your grid side. With this, these points I would like to
Thank you,
close,
Chetan. We are
in a very
thanks for the insight. We are running short of time, but thankful to the delegates for patience listening. We would just require 5 to 7 minutes of yours more before we wind up the session. Now we have Anand from ISGF, who will just summarize a quick tour of EVs. Anand, over to you.
Thank you. 5 minutes, yes. Thank you, MSCDCL, for hosting us here. And since morning, we have been listening about much of solar coming to the grid, and they have almost broken all the records. Heard about Guinness Book World of Record also in the morning. So, lot of solar coming to the grid is very good thing, but if you are not able to manage it, then problems are also on the way. We have seen it in Gujarat. So before the problem reaches you, MSCDCL, I have some solution to deal with it beforehand. It's intro about V2G. I have to tell, it's not a presentation rather than a story. We started this 1 year back when we had nothing. And we wanted to do V2G, establish the demonstration of V2G in country. And we started, all started from thin air. We had nothing. And thank you, Reggie Pillai, for your leadership that we could do it within an year. So the story starts a year back. The key objective was to promote renewable energy and all the problems. I'm the last speaker. So it has been a master class for me. I'm perhaps the 11th speaker of the day. So we learned all the problems, so now we have the solution. The idea was to understand that how grid is going to behave and how we can create a cushion for the grid. Mostly all the utilities across India is fighting for the peak load management. So we thought of that if we demonstrate this technology, we shall be able to create a cushion for DISCOMs for the load balancing, mostly the peak load management thing. So the project, we tied up with University of Delaware, and also got help from Nuvei Holding Corp. They provided, we imported bidirectional chargers from them. We got bidirectional power modules also from Watt and Well. And we did this homework, the entire 1 year homework with 4 utilities. 3 of them were in Delhi. Half of the panel I have worked with for this project. And BSES Rajdhani, BSES Yamuna, Tata Power, and Kerala, Enert in Kerala. So we have done all the homework outside Maharashtra, but I'm sure that Maharashtra is one state that can reap the maximum benefits of what we have done in last 1 year. You have set a benchmark in solar. V2G can be next big thing in Maharashtra. I'll talk about the numbers. This is the retrofit architecture. So we had to learn a bit of electronics engineering, automobile engineering, system engineering, design engineering to put all things place. We have done it hands-on. We have done it ourselves. And finally, we demonstrated this in IOCW in March, the first technical demonstration in this part of the world. Yes, so these are 4 pilot sites where we could demonstrate. 3 of them were in Delhi, and then 1 was in Kerala. So there's something, this is how we are charging, discharging, and creating a cushion for the grid. During off-peak hours, you are charging your vehicle. So this is a fleet box application, what actually, accounts everything, that whatever you are doing with the grid, it accounts everything. So the green line, what you see is that goes for energy that you have consumed from the grid, and the blue line tells about the energy you have given back to the grid. So all the pilots we have done with all the utilities, mostly we are discharging during peak load hours, so that we demonstrate that this is creating some cushion for the grid. So there were 2 components. One was this V2G pilot, we did it, and the another more important component was charging EV with green electricity. So that was also one challenging thing, and first time in the world, I think, we have demonstrated it, charging EV with the green energy. So for this, we set up a small solar power plant. We used a small solar power plant sitting on one of the school in West Delhi. And then we are, with the help of blockchain technology, we are ensuring that somebody is pushing green energy to the grid. Same time, we are consuming the same energy through one charging station. And with the help of blockchain technology, we established this trust. And then we were able to generate certificates also. There is a charging application where it would give you option for green charging as well. So that will come with a little premium, but yes, there are options for green charging. I mean, just before this discussion, we were fighting for there are enough chargers or not. That is again debatable, but we have chargers available with green charging also. So this is the certificate what one can generate based on the blockchain technology, and that is authentic. So rather than talking economical benefit, so we presented this with a forum of regulators in Delhi, and they liked this idea. We created a draft model regulation for V2G, presented it before regulators, and it would talk about all the scope, guidelines, eligibility, roles, responsibility, metering requirements, communication, interoperability, tariff frameworks, real-time operation, all the complications what one can encounter in V2G. We have talked about everything. So we have also proposed a tariff framework. Before that, we studied the model that is being widely used in all the pilots across the globe. We had example of Japan, wherein they are giving you the advantage of discharging with 100% tariff increase. Suppose you are charging at 10 cents, so you are allowed to discharge at 20 cents. We have example of UK, wherein they will give 30 pound per month benefits. Other models for Denmark, they'll give 1,500 euros annually. And California, it will give you the arbitrage of 13 cents you are charging, and almost almost 4 times, at least 50 cents per kWh you are discharging. We have model from Australia also, so where the charging rate was exorbitantly low, 0.05 cents. And then we have example of Netherlands also. So we studied everything, and then based on our understanding of our ecosystem, we proposed tariff. So we have done with the regulator. Unfortunately, we have Secretary MERC here. So my request to regulators to look this into seriously, and then we have established the technology. So now we would want to pass on this baton to the DISCOMs and regulator also to look into this, and there can be humongous benefit of having V2G in place. These are a couple of use cases. I'm going to talk about the numbers. We did it for BRPL. there is a benefit of 156 crores if we are going to do this V2G, where the load of the peak load is of the order of 1900 megawatt. If we translate this into a huge utility of the scale of UP or Maharashtra, the benefits are going to be 3,460 crores per annum. And I have taken the arbitrage of only 2 rupees. So RK, this is for you. If you can give me 2 rupees arbitrage, anyway you are buying electricity from market at 10 rupees. So if you can allow me to discharge my vehicle at 8 rupees, this is the benefit you will reap. For India's scale, it is going to be more than 1 lakh crore if we do it right in the country. So that is the scale and benefit of V2G if we do it right. So I'll pass on this baton to regulator and utilities, and I hope you are hungry. So I finish here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Anand, for this insightful presentation. So we have a lot of key takeaways from a judicious, I would like to say judicious mix of various eminent speakers representing transport department, EV manufacturers, charger representatives, regulator, and the pivotal role of the power sector, the DISCOMs. So I would like to request the chair of the panel, Secretary Maharashtra Electricity Regulatory
Himanshu,
Commission.
just one sentence. As a DISCOM, we can assure you that if you give me commercial tariff for EV charging, we are capable to run all the problems and we can solve all the problem ourselves. We are capable. So only thing is give me the commercial tariff. That's it.
I think yesterday it was made quite clear by our Power Secretary also, and other eminent dignitaries were there. There should not be any cross subsidy. If you really want to move ahead in the power sector, there should not be any cross subsidy within the tariff schedule. Ravi Kumar Saab, who is existing chairperson of Karnataka Commission, he presented. I definitely agree with you. Tariff is basically cash flow is concerned, so tariff is the main point which is being looked after by the regulator. But you see, if we start from even 2016, the tariff policy mandated just plus minus 20% of cross subsidy. But in Delhi, you see it is 50%, 70%.
So there is one thought. Sir, EV being a very promotional or concessional category, they should offer some kind of demand flexibility during peak hours so that we continue to serve and provide the tariff at a very promotional rates. Otherwise, what happens, we go on building network, we procure power at a peak rates, and that ends up to socializing or burdening the EV tariff.
So I'll solve the DISCOM's problem. Suppose you are giving me option to discharge my vehicle at 8 rupees, I can buy the same electricity at peak solar generation hours from the grid, from the market, 1 rupees or 2 rupees. At least I have a 6 rupees arbitrage for the entire transaction where I can pass off the benefit to consumers, and maybe half of it goes to the CPO also. So everybody should be happy in this model.
Quite an interesting session. And I was also on the regulator side for 1.5 decades. So when the tariff and crop subsidy comes into picture, I cannot stop myself speaking. But I would request now Ambekar sir to please close the session with the closing remarks.
Thank you very much. I know everybody is agree. Thank you very much, first of all, to Reji Kumar sir and Reena madams to organize such type of functions. The topic of the function is very good. 200 billion rupees opportunity. So everybody is gathered there. So what is the opportunity of 200 billion? But main motive of this 200 billion opportunity, decarbonization. That is the main motive behind this. So I will talk about what exactly Maharashtra is doing. Maharashtra is always opportunity, taken opportunity, and always convert this threat into opportunity. Maharashtra is always doing that. I am elaborating 2-3 minutes on this topic. Since the Maharashtra is a different state in the country, we have the unique distribution licensee setup. We have the largest distribution licensee, that is the Mahavitran. We have the local authority, that is BST undertaking, which is conducting transport as well as distribution systems. We have the private players like Adani Powers and Tata Powers. So Maharashtra, in that sense, Maharashtra is the unique combinations of all the in the country. We have this, in the MSDCL area, we have the 2.3 crores consumers. And in these 2.2 crores, 1.75 crores were the residential consumers. So we are thinking for the residential consumer in the larger sectors in this case. We have the 45 lakhs agriculture consumers in this. So we have to think about the agriculture consumers, what to do about the agriculture consumer. So for this decarbonization, we have already did so many things. So we have, Mahavitran has floated a tender for 15,000 megawatt, which is the largest floating tender in the world, I can say in the world, which this Mukhya Mantri Saur Krishi Vice flagship of PM Kusum Yojana. It committed to the MERC and we approved that proposal for this. This is basically solarization of large agriculture feeders. And I can say in this platform that Mahavitran is so nicely doing with. At this present, the 2,000 megawatt has been actually installed in the site, and by 26 December, 5,000 more additional will be there. So this is decarbonization and solar infusion in the Maharashtra for Mahavitran site. So we have also the renewable purchase obligation aligned with the MOP guidelines. The 43% we have to achieve by 2030. We already in this 25 year, the 25 financial year, 25-26, we achieved 33%, and every distribution, I can say proud on this platform, every distribution licensee all achieve more than target achieved on this. We have a distribution loss in the countries, the BST's area distribution loss only 4%, which is the lowest distribution loss in the country. And the Mahavitran, I can say the consumer mix are very different, but Mahavitran distribution loss is also very less. This is what we achieve. So what I can say in the platform, in this platform, renewable energy achievement in the Maharashtra is going in a nice way. For this RP obligation on this side, as well as solarization on other side. Coming back to today's topic, this is EV charging station. What we did in the Maharashtra, we introduced a separate category for EV charging. And we see that financial viability of DISCOM should be maintained as it is. So what we introduced the separate tariff and average cost of supply for these categories. So that is one. So that affordability for consumer also as well as the distribution licensee can be financial viability. That is first. Then we have open access consumer charging stations also. That is second one. We have third one is a TOD tariff, time of the day tariff. So time of the day tariff we have in the solar hour 9 to 5, that is a peak hours. We have given rebate for this peak hour, as well as the night hours from 12 to 6. We have given also rebate, and tariff is less for the night user. So that is another things we have here. So we in the Maharashtra we are already doing the how EV vehicles to be promoted in the Maharashtra. We are already doing this. Coming back to the Rajiv Kumar sir dreams, what is V2G? So V2G is also important. We know that V2G is why important. Now what happened to EV charging to feeding to the grids. So that is also take to the care of it. That requires the bidirectional metering also required. We will think over it. And I can assure you that the Maharashtra Regulatory Commissions will take care of this and amend our regulation accordingly so that it can be implemented throughout the distribution's licensee already. This is what I want to say. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. With this, we close the session. Over to you, Aishwarya.
Thank you very much. And with that, as we thank the chair and the moderator and eminent panelists, we have Shri Anshuman Srivastav, the Executive Director, Power Foundation of India, who has a final word of thanks, a very brief one, sir. May I request you to please offer the word of thanks?
Dear panelists, learned panelists, I will say, scholars of this sector and present this DISCOM officials. I on behalf of Power Foundation of India and ISGF as well, who is organizing this event and keeping us as a knowledge partner. So I am thankful to each and everybody, and feel that this type of seminars, conferences shall continue in future also. And सबको धन्यवाद होना चाहिए, सब लोग अपना अच्छे से प्रोग्राम किए, शामिल हुए, तो तभी सबको अच्छा लगता है. और धन्यवाद तो सब एक दूसरे के लिए धन्यवाद ही है. थैंक यू.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, I will now request our chair to please felicitate our eminent panelists. So may I request you, Shri Rajendra Ambekar ji, to please felicitate first Shri Anshuman Srivastav, Executive Director, Power Foundation of India. Let's have a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And now our eminent panelists, sir, I request you to please felicitate them. Shri Ramakrishna Singh, Head of E-Mobility Business Tata Power. Let's have a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Shri Ramakrishna Singh. Shri A. Srinivas Rao, GM Transportation Engineering, Best Undertaking. Let's have a huge round of applause. Shri Omkar Shaligram, GM Tata Motors. Thank you very much, sir. Shri Pradeep Agarwal, GM BRPL. Let's have a round of applause for Shri Pradeep Agarwal, GM BRPL. Thank you, sir. Shri Pramod Mishra, CTO, Chandigarh Power Distribution Limited. Thank you very much, sir. Shri Kartikeya Haryani has left for his flight, I think. Shri Chetan Pathak, Director, India Energy Storage Alliance. Let's have a round of applause for Shri Chetan Pathak, please. Thank you, sir. Shri Ashok Thanikonda, Senior Program Officer, GGGI, Triple GI. Let's have a huge round of applause for Shri Ashok Thanikonda. And may I request Shri Reji Kumar Pillai, President India Smart Grid Forum, to please help us thank our chair at this juncture. Shri Rajendra G. Ambekar, Secretary MERC. We request you, sir, to please accept a very small token. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a huge round of applause for our chair. Thank you very much once again, sir. And I request our esteemed panelists to kindly step ahead of the dais and give us a photo opportunity. And we thank our moderator, Shri Himanshu Chawla, Head Regulatory Power Foundation of India and former Joint Director Tariff DRC, for steering this brilliant session. With that, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'd like to apprise you that Power Foundation of India, who's our knowledge partner for DAM 2025, has also powered this session, which we just witnessed. Electric vehicles, a $200 billion opportunity in India, and DISCOM's role in making this a reality. And what a fantastic session. With that, now we've got only half an hour for lunch, ladies and gentlemen. So it's about 1:50 right now. And I'm going to request you to please come back by 2:20 so that we can start with our next session.